Hi, welcome to Shiloh May. This is Linda. Thanks for tuning in today. Remember that Hobby Lobby table runner that I embellished by applicating the Valentine coffee mugs on? Well, come along and see how we transform the table runner, into a cute pillow. Sometimes what we have planned in our heads does not always go accordingly. Watch to see my process through unforetold circumstances. I started by cutting my table runner, which measured 72 by 14, down to a size of 14 by 40 inches. So measure 40 inches, then you're going to add one couple of inches, say 2 inches to the end, and then you're going to take your rotary cutter and your mat and you're going to trim it at that 42-inch mark. That leaves you enough for a 1-inch hem. So now take that raw edge and turn it under 1 inch and then another inch and fold it, pin it, finger press it, and then take it to the sewing machine and you're going to stitch right along that inside folded edge, just like I'm doing here in the video. After you're done, you're going to see that edge is going to look just like the original edge on the table runner. Now take it to your cutting mat and use the 14-inch guide to fold your ends inward. This will be the back of your envelope pillow case. So when you're done, your pillow is going to go in this section. But we want to make sure that we press the edges well here when we get it measured out to 14, because we're going to use the other side of this to put our design on. So here I have my fabrics ready. I have 2 different colored fabrics or printed fabrics, and they already have the heat and bond on them. I found a circular object that I'm going to trace on the back of my fabrics, and I left the heat and bond on. It's easier to trace and see, and you can just use any kind of pin you want here. I need 3, so I've made 3. And now I'm going to add, I'm just showing you, you can do this without drawing this part, but I just want a kind of a scalloped edge on each one of these circles because they're going to be a flower. Flowers aren't dimensionally circular, right? So now I'm cutting it out, and I sped this up for a little bit for you to see. I didn't think you'd want to sit and watch me cut all these, but you can see how I'm making my scissors cut kind of going in a scalloped edge. And there's flower number 1. And to get the backing off, if it doesn't come off easily, you can stick a pin just slide it underneath the paper and then lift it and then tear the rest of the backing off. So easy. All right, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 black flowers that I cut out. Okay, here I have my black flowers cut out and the backing removed. I'm just placing them on the front of my pillow in the pattern that I want them. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I just did to the black fabric, I'm going to do to the red fabric. But I'm going to try to make these a little bit smaller, about at least a quarter of an inch smaller than my black ones. So this time when I cut my little scallop, I'm going to cut from the inside of my circle instead of the outside. So here you can see I've just sped this up for you again. And I'm going to continue to do the same thing, just cutting out all my pieces of fabric here. And I've actually done this in several layers. So I have 1 black layer, and then I have 3 red layers, and each layer gets about a quarter inch smaller than the one before. So just keep doing this. I believe this is my last layer here that I'm cutting out. This is what it's going to look like, and now I'm laying them on top of my pillowcase, position them where I want them, and you can see the 3 layers of red and the 1 layer of black fabric. And again, your combination might be different colors, but all can be the same. I'm laying it on top of my wool mat, very carefully moving, again, adjusting where I want them to go. And I'm going to press them here. Again, pressing is just putting the iron straight down on your project, making sure you're following the manufacturer suggested instructions here on how to adhere your heat and bond or whatever type of fusing material you're using. And you see where folding your fabric under helps you position where make sure it's on the center of the front of your pillow. So now I've got a ruler and I'm just drawing straight lines with a non-soluble pen to make my stems. So I'm measuring from this, not really measuring, but marking from this bottom center of my flower down to about, a couple of inches from the very bottom of the pillow. I've set my machine to zigzag and I've put it on about a 4-inch width with a 0.8 stitch length. And I'm just zigzagging from the bottom of my line that I drew up to the base of the flower. And again, it's just a nice zigzag stitch, or what we might call a satin stitch when we're appliquing. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to show you this in just a second here, what it looks like. Up a little closer. So here's what it looks like. Now I used a white bobbin thread, but if I'd used black, it would probably have even been a little more intense, the black on the stem. And now I'm speeding this up so you can just continue to see the process. It takes, longer than this, so take your time while you're doing it. And doing the third one. And there we go. That's what they look like when they're done. Now we have our stems. So now I'm going to use a free motion quilting technique on the center of these. But there are other options. And I will list the video below where you can see the other options. This is where I really became challenged. Now, I'm not great at free motion quilting yet because you have to drop your feed dogs, and then you have to make sure you're using a free motion quilting foot. And it's all done by basically moving the fabric around. But my thread kept breaking, and I think it was because of the stickiness of all 3 layers, or actually 4 layers of the heat and bond. My first flower went well. The thread did break a couple of times, but I was able to get it looked like I wanted to look in the end. But the second one, you can see something was not quite right here. So I looked at my bobbin thread, I got that figured out, and then I moved on to the third one. It turned out all right, but my sheen was making a clanking noise, which is a good sign that things aren't going well. But just don't give up. I just kept doing what I needed to do to get that process done. And this was the last flower, and I did finish it. Was it perfect? No, but it just gives that little whimsical look in the middle of your flower. But again, if you don't want to try this or do it, please check out the alternatives, ideas, and those suggestions will be in the description. One thing I didn't mention was I did put stabilizer on the back of my fabric, which I believe helped in the end. So make sure you remove that and trim all your threads as always. So there's my finished flowers on the front. Now we're going to move on to how to finish the pillowcase. So this part is super easy. Now I'm going to flip my fabric over, or my pillowcase over. I'm lining up my stripes since I have stripes, and making sure it's at that 14-inch mark, the width of the pillow. And then you're going to stitch down the edge, and I stitched about a 1/4 inch from the edge, outside edge, down both sides of the pillow. Not where you're going to put your pillow in, but the top and what I would call the top and the bottom of the pillow. Okay, and then clip all your threads, and your pillowcase is done. All we got left now is to stuff our pillow in there. And I used a 14-inch pillow for this, and so it's going to be tight, which I like it to look nice and firm. But just stuff it in there, and I sped this up because I didn't think you'd want to sit and watch me do this. But then just fluff it, get it where you want it, and there you go. Your pillow is all done. Congratulations on your pillow. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. I appreciate it.